obtained earlier when we did the conversion from 30 degrees to time. And if we do this, 5 minus 2 hours will give us 3 p.m. of course. So the time in Nigeria when it is 5 p.m. in Ethiopia, according to the question, will be 3 p.m. The figure here shows various lines of longitude, the prime meridian and the other important lines of longitude. You can see 90 degrees, 60, 30, and then the prime meridian, which is always 0, down to 30, 60, and 90 again. Now, let's look at the international date line. The international date line is where the date changes by exactly 1 day when it is crossed. 1 day, of course, is 24 hours. So, at the expiration of 24 hours, there is a change of date. We say we are no longer on the 21st, but now we are on the 22nd. That's what that means. Now, let's see the Greenwich Mean Time, known as the GMT. The GMT is the time at the Greenwich Meridian. The time at Greenwich Meridian, and it's also called the world time. Why is it called the world time? This is because every other country in the world takes or adjusts its time from the GMT. Nigeria is 1 hour ahead of GMT. That is to say, when it is 1 p.m. at the GMT, it will be 2 p.m. in Nigeria. Let's consider the standard time. Standard time, just as the name implies, is a time adopted generally by a particular country. It is also known as a local time. Now, the world time zones. The world time zone is a division of the world into 24 time zones, and each zone differs from the next zone by 15 degrees in terms of longitude and 1 hour in terms of time. Now, look at this figure. This is what we call the world time zone. Each zone differs from the next by 1 hour when you are talking about time, and 15 degrees when you are considering longitudes. Look at it, one after the other, there is an increase in the time. We have 1, the next one we have 2, the next one we have 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and so on. That is the various divisions that make up the world time zones. Now we'll look at the structure of the Earth. The Earth is structured such that we have the outer structure and the internal structure. The outer structure of the Earth is made up of lithosphere, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, and the biosphere. When you consider the lithosphere, we are talking about the solid portion of the Earth made up of rocks and minerals. The hydrosphere is made up of a liquid part of the earth. And of course, the hydrosphere covers about 70% or 2/3 of the entire Earth's crust. In case of the atmosphere, we are talking about that part of the Earth that contains gases. It means the gaseous part of the Earth. Gases like nitrogen, which is about 78%, oxygen, about 21%, carbon dioxide, about 0.03%, and other rare gases make up the atmosphere. The biosphere is the part of the earth occupied by living organisms like plants, animals, and microorganisms. Now this is the structure of the earth. It's how it looks like. You can see the inner part of the earth and the outer part of the earth. The inner core, the outer core, and of course the mantle and the crust, which is the outer portion of the earth. There is an interaction between these major parts of the earth. I call it major parts or the spheres of the earth: the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, the biosphere, and the lithosphere. These various parts of the earth or portions of the earth co-interact with each other. For instance, the plants and animals in the biosphere can be found in the lithosphere, in the atmosphere as well, and also in the hydrosphere. The plants in the biosphere also get nutrients from the lithosphere. The lithosphere, of course, is the soil. The soil is a product of weathered rocks or rock materials. Over time, the action of weathering and deposition, these soils begin to form, and in no time they support the growth of plants which are in the biosphere. And now another interaction is where most human activities take place, which is the lithosphere. You and I go about our day-to-day activities on the lithosphere. That is another aspect of the interaction between the major spheres that we have been talking about. Gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide are made in the atmosphere and constantly through respiration and photosynthesis. Also, sunlight in the atmosphere is also needed by these plants in the lithosphere to carry out their food manufacturing process, which is known as photosynthesis. And we also have the atmosphere, which contains water vapor from the hydrosphere. Now let's look at the internal structure of the earth. The internal structure of the earth is subdivided into the following. We have the crust, subdivided into upper and lower crust. The upper crust contains granitic rocks and seal minerals. And seal minerals are minerals that contain silica and aluminium. And We also have the lower crust, which contains basaltic rocks and seamer minerals. Seamer minerals like silica, iron, and of course we have magnesium. And this is usually commonly found in ocean floors. That is why one very empirical proof to tell that you are in an oceanic environment is the presence of basaltic rocks. We have mantle as another part or structure of the earth. And the mantle is found beneath the crust. After the crust, we have the mantle. The mantle is about 200 or 2,897 kilometers thick. We talk about the thickness. Now, the mantle is kind of plastic and in a semi-liquid form. Also, the core, which is the innermost part of the earth, contains minerals like nickel and iron, and it is usually in molten form. Molten form means form that is kind of liquid, melted, maybe due to heat or pressure. Rocks are naturally occurring aggregates of solid minerals that make up a significant part of the earth crust. By this I mean that they are found in